Kapow! Hello and welcome to Stanchion Snacks, a bit of a mouthful. The cooking show where I create a unique dish for every Saints game this season. Now this dish always represents a past player of both Southampton and our weekly opponents. Today's episode celebrates one of my favourite all-time players, and that is Paul Jones. Paul Jones was born just 20 miles down the road from where I was born and grew up, in Chirk, in Wales. So today we're going to be creating the greatest things to ever come out of Wales, and that is Welsh cake. So let's get straight on. 200 grams of flour, of self-raising flour. If you don't have self-raising flour, 200 grams of plain flour and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And then to that, we're going to add 100 grams of butter, and we're just going to sort of dice that up into little cubes, and then we're going to rub that into the flour until we've got nice sort of sandy texture, and 50 grams of sugar. And then to that we're going to add a good handful, or maybe 2 tablespoons, let's say, of currants, and we're going to create a little well in the middle, and to this we're going to add 1 egg and maybe a little splash of milk as well. We'll see how we get on. Then just combine it together, starting off with a butter knife, and then get your hands in there, give it a little gentle knead, and that's it. Welsh cake dough done. So that's a really classic Welsh cake, but before we cook that, we're actually going to make another variety, so one which is a little bit more exciting and very Welsh, because the first thing it involves is a leek, a Welshman's best friend. So taking about 1/4 of the leek, you can run it under a tap like this. It's a really nice way to wash any of the dirt out. Then a nice fine dice, and then we're going to sweat that off in a little bit of oil and butter, pinch of salt. I only use Maldon's. And to that we're going to add some Welshman's caviar, also known as Laverbread or baralaur, which is basically seaweed. If you live by the coast, get out and pick some, it's all edible. If not, use some nori sheets. Just cut them up with scissors like this, and then add them to the leeks right at the end. We're going to start off exactly the same as before. 200 grams of flour, rub in 100 grams of butter. Because these are savoury ones, now instead of 50 grams of sugar, we're going to add 50 grams of cheese. This is a Welsh cheddar, but just use whatever you've got, really. And then our lovely leeky seaweed mix. So again, this is probably about 2 tablespoons. So if you want to be really specific, 28 grams. Bring that together exactly like you did with the other one. Nice amount of flour on your board, and we've obviously now got these 2 lovely doughs. You want to get flour your pin as well, and then with a ring, if you've got a fluted ring, use a fluted ring, but I've got no idea what I've done with mine. I've lost it somehow, so that's a nice funny little farting sound. So then cut them out, and you can just place them onto a tray and it's time to cook. Then exactly the same with our leek and laverbread. Cooking straight into a pan. So I've got a cast iron pan here, just a little drop of oil. This is almost like you're making a pancake. We're just prepping the pan. So just rub a little bit of oil around there with a clean cloth or a bit of kitchen towel. Straight on there, quite a low heat. Pop them straight in, and you can give them just a little press down as they go in, and then I like to just shake the pan a little bit so that you know they're not going to stick, and that's it. Leave them maybe a good 2 minutes, and you'll notice they start to puff up. They'll sort of double in size. Flip them over. And for this, you need a cup of tea. I've made a pot. This is a pot of tea kind of situation. So first of all, let's try one of the OGs. Look at this. Look at that. Oh. So just a little bit of salted butter on here. You notice we didn't put any salt in the mix. If you want to, you can add a little bit. But here we go, the OG. You know what? It's just the right amount of sugar actually. When I was making it, I thought 50 grams might be a little bit too much, but it's perfect. Look at that lovely amount of currants going through there. It's an absolute triumph. Give it a go. It's easier than making scones. You haven't even got to turn your oven on. Right, so let's try one of the, I need to give them a name really. Leek and Laverbread, Ultimate Welsh. I guess they're just the Paul Jones. Maybe they're the Gareth Bale. If this, the sort of traditional Welsh cake, is Paul Jones, maybe the best Welsh cake in the world, the best ever, it's got to be the Gareth Bale, isn't it? So let's give him a little go. Again, just a bit of butter on the outside. I can smell the leek. I can smell the cheese.
Smell my cheese. Alan, please. Smell my cheese, you mother.
Oh my gosh. It's leaky. It's cheesy. And then you got that little sort of umami-ness of the seaweed, which kind of sort of hits you at the back of the sort of the note. It's a different sense. It really is the sort of fifth sense that it's not huge on flavour, but it's giving you this sort of umami-ness. Big up the Saints, big up Wales, and for making it this far. Why not? Here's a little montage of some of the greatest Welsh players ever to play for Southampton. This is Stanchion Snacks, and this is a bit of a mouthful.
Held up by Dean Garner, but that's a good combination. Edozie, David Brooks!